was just a test.
Where's the record button?
I love it.
Yeah, we're good here. Good to go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hereby call this meeting to order. Today, the Tax Abatement Committee, Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024, 6 p.m. in the Alderman Chambers. We'll hold a public hearing at 165 Church Street, New Haven, Connecticut, to hear the following 4 items. Item number 1, LM-2024-0429, order concerning real property taxes of BTC New Haven, LLC. Tax account numbers 946-880, 947-274, 947-528, and 653-521. Item number 2, LM-2024-0143, order concerning real property taxes of Maria L. Zambrano on motor vehicle tax account 805-765. Item number 3, LM-2024-0217, order concerning real property taxes of James M. Majors on motor vehicle tax accounts 82002, 82447, 80789, and 80773. And item number 4, LM-2024-0332, order of the Board of Aldermen concerning the property taxes of Timothy Kelly Anderson, account numbers 88158 and 7552. These items are on file and available for public inspection in the Office of the Legislative Services at 165 Church Street, New Haven, Connecticut. For order, Honorable Jose Crespo, Chair, attached Michael Smart, City Clerk. If you need a disability-related accommodation, please call 3 business days in advance at 203-946-7651 voice or 203-946-8582 TTY. Public comment or public testimony may also be submitted via email at publictestimony@newhavenct.gov. And it must be submitted before 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. The meeting can also be viewed at the Board of Alders YouTube channel. At this time, I would like to start from my left. And I'd like to ask my committee members if they can just introduce themselves.
Alder Frank Douglas, Ward 2.
Alder Troy Street, Ward 21.
Brian Wingate, Ward 29, Beaver Hills.
Alder Jose Crespo for Haven, Ward 16, Chairman. This time, I'd like to call BTC New Haven, LLC. Please come to the table. And just some housekeeping items or some housekeeping rules. When you come in, please state your name, last name, and address for the record, and then state your case. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And if you can bring the microphone close to you so that we can hear you loud and clear.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
My name is Ron Statiel, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer of the entity BTC New Haven LLC. For the record, I'd just like to state that the notice itself, which says real property taxes, I believe is personal property taxes.
Is it the building or is it equipment inside?
It's the personal property inside the building.
Oh, okay. Didn't register that. That's right. It's still real property.
Yeah.
So it's covered by that general concept.
Okay, thank you for that.
I brought a few notes just so I'm concise in my explanation. So just by way of background, BTC New Haven, we operate a movie theater here in town, Bowtie Cinemas.
Yeah.
May or may not be familiar to some or all of you. And unfortunately, and I've been operating for about 20 years, but unfortunately ran into financial difficulty, primarily related to the COVID situation. attendance fell way back, and effectively we have difficulty running it. That's just background information, not germane to this issue. And the theater is now part of a residential complex. I don't know if you're familiar, it's on Temple Street. There's a 44 apartment building there that's been also in existence for about 20 years. So, we're currently working on a plan to replace the theater with a viable commercial tenant. We're also working with the city, the mayor, and the economic development department on potential different tenants that might work well in that spot. So, but again, that's all by way of background. The theater was closed in October of 23, as I described. So now the background on the tax payment bills. So in 2021, the city hired an outside firm to do audits of personal property tax filings for, I don't know how many, but for at least some businesses that were doing business in New Haven. And that was done on a remote basis by an agency that they hired, and actually I was communicating with someone in North Carolina who was doing it, as I said, doing the audit on a remote basis. And that audit was wrapped up at the end of 21 or just in the first month of 2022. We were aware that that audit was completed, and there were some findings which they shared with us, and we knew that we would owe some tax in that regard, but they told us that they would be forwarding all those reports to the city, to the assessor's office, ultimately for review. And this is where we had a disconnect, because we never, and I'll explain a little bit more of the background, but we never got any notices or information about the final audit bills. Now, I don't know what you have in front of you. If you just have maybe, I brought a summary of what, I didn't make 4 copies though, I apologize, but
No worries.
just at least one summary of where we are. Maybe I could hand over.
Thanks, sir.
But the bills for the audit, or any notice about the finalization of the audit, were never sent to us, or at least we never received them. Our headquarters was in Richfield, Connecticut. We closed that office at the end of 22, when we closed down most of our movie theaters at that time. So that was our old filing address with the city. So we presume that if the city sent us anything about this audit, it was mailed to that address, but we never got it. We forwarded mail, but we never received anything in the last couple of years at all. So from my perspective, or our perspective, we are solid taxpayers in town. We are current with our taxes. We just never knew about this audit. And how we discovered the audit was that we were notified that the city collection agency had filed a UCC filing with the Secretary of State against BTC New Haven. As soon as I saw that, I called the city and inquired, why are you doing that? And then they informed us about the outstanding items from the audit. We went through that. I've been cooperating with the city, with both the collection group and the assessor's office, to make sure the payments will get made. In the meantime, we made payments on our current. You can see on that schedule that we made a payment on a current year, but what they did is they credited it back against the audit responsibility that we had. In other words, they didn't. So it shows up that we're actually unpaid on our current year also, although we paid it in good faith, but we didn't know it got credited back to 2018 audit.
Mhm.
And by the way, the three audits were 18, 19, and 20. Those were the 3 years that they audited.
Okay.
So, again, in good faith, we never received notice of these audits. And as soon as we found out about them, we came, I called the city within a couple of days to rectify the situation and to understand what it was. I still haven't seen the bills or the actual notices as to when they came, if they were mailed, how they were mailed, et cetera. I was unable to get those from either the collection office or the assessor's office to this point. But having researched it on the website now, I can see all of these items clearly on the website. And that summarization, that shows our prior year payments. I wanted to show a pattern of us having, made our payments correctly throughout the period. And we want to, again, want to rectify the situation as soon as possible. The reason we haven't paid is because as we would pay current payments on the current year or even on the amount of the audit, excluding the penalties and interest, it'll automatically go to the penalties and interest on the city records. So we were notified to contact Don and to try this route in order to try to get your help in forgiving the penalties and interest so that we can settle the whole case immediately and get all these back taxes paid.
Okay.
I think that summarizes it. Unless there are questions or follow-up, so it's a simple request. We weren't aware of it. As soon as we found out about it, we came forward. We're working with the city to get these back items paid. There really are substantial penalties and interest that have been applied, and we were asking for relief from those penalties and interest.
Okay. You've been in operation how many years? 20?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've received notices for the payments that you owe on your taxes every year, correct? With the exception of
Yes, we
18
have.
and 20?
Yeah.
So you knew that a tax was owed, even if you didn't receive it. Because even if you don't receive the notice, our due diligence as residents is to always inquire that we still owe something. Because it is not an obligation for the city to send a notice, it is courtesy. Which I think it's a wonderful courtesy. So based on the understanding that I have from what you stated in your cases, that you want help with the interest and penalties, which would accumulate to $22,337.68 out of the total amount due of $85,322.17, bringing it down to $62,984.49. Is that your request?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that you think that the notices were sent elsewhere?
I asked the agency, your departments, to provide me with copies of the correspondence, which they said that they couldn't get it. Now, I don't know if I think I asked the question correctly, because I just wanted to retrace my steps.
Yeah.
And to go back to when I would, receive them. Again, our address, our business address had been 641 Danbury Road in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We closed that office in December of 22. We did have forwarding, I thought, for at least 6 months with the post office.
Yeah.
We did not see these items come through.
Okay. So it looks like you're owing 18, 19, 20, 22, and 23.
Yes.
Okay. So.
But we stand ready to, clearly there's no question with respect to 22 and 23.
Okay.
Yeah. But you did include those in your totals when you
Yes,
did. Yes.
that's correct. Because if it were to be just 18, 19, and 20, it looks like it's 30, it's 35, it's 37, it's 38, about 38 and a half, 39.
Yeah.
Give or take.
And that schedule attempted to accumulate all the activity, including, like I said, our payments for a couple of previous years to show the record.
Okay. Committee members. Alder Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just through the chair. You said you were going to be bringing in some new tenants, possibly? into
Yes,
the
sir.
property? You're not sure, but you don't know exactly what's going to be taking place yet.
No, I think that there are a couple of possibilities. In fact, one of those would be to use the space in the arts,
Okay.
which is because the theater's built out.
Just,
We haven't done anything with the seats, although the theater size is, auditoriums may not work for everybody, but there's certainly the potential. And we thought one of the best applications could be with some of the art institutions that are around New Haven, theaters and others that might work. That's one option. We didn't necessarily think that, stripping it for retail would be the best use at this point.
no apartments.
So I
No
think
more
the city,
apartments, no more apartments or anything like that.
no, I do not believe so.
Okay.
I do not believe that will be the likely development. So I know that our operations team is working actively with a couple of brokers and, trying to get some people to look at it and to make some proposals.
Thank you. And you did state to the chair, to the committee, that you're looking to be excused of the interest, all of the interest. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so for the record, I don't know the breakdown of whether, I call it interest and penalties to cover the,
Yeah.
I've still not seen the detail, yeah, so there's some $22,000.
Right.
Yes, sir, and then
Thank
to immediately reconcile and,
All right, thank you.
and
Thank you,
then
Mr.
cover
Chair.
the
Thank you
difference.
so much. Thank you, Alder Douglas. So let me just give you the breakdown real quick. There's just interest. Doesn't seem to be any penalties. Normally we'll see those
Just
penalties,
interest?
but it looks just interest. There's no penalties included. The tax year for 2018 was 15,328.82.
Mhm.
Tax year 19, 11,920.
Mhm.
And the following year, 2020, 11,440.69.
Mhm.
Just the taxes. Now the interest, 2018, 6,976.51.
Right.
2019, 8,046.
Yes, sir,
And 2020, 5,620.17.
okay,
Now jumping to 22, 12,265.26. And 2023, 12,029.72. The interest for 22 is 1,655, no interest for 2023.
Mhm.
So that would give us a total of 62,984 with 49 cents in taxes alone.
yes, sir.
The interest would be 22,337.68.
Mhm.
Combination of all is going to be a grand total of 85,322.17, which is taxes and interest is combined. Should this committee take the opportunity to try to provide some assistance and helping with the interest, it would be reduced to 62,984.49 cents from 85,322.17 cents.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, that's understood
Okay.
and appreciated, of course.
So, and then that does not include, Don, is there another bill coming up?
No, that includes.
That includes the whole year.
That's the current one.
Got it. So he'll be up to date for, okay, perfect. And he'll have up to 90 days should we,
Do something.
I understand, depending on what you do,
Mhm.
they're ready to pay it.
okay. Understood.
Yeah, because again, I repeat, there's no dispute now that I'm aware of it,
Mhm.
there's no dispute with respect to what I call the principal amount of the tax liability.
Okay.
Absolutely none at all. No protest, nothing.
What do we need?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'm just curious. Maybe I missed this. Excuse me if I did. Who did the audit?
It was again, do you looking for the actual name of the audit of the firm?
Yeah, I think it's important, right? Because at some point they may do it again. I mean,
I had the names of the individual auditors, the name of the firm, since it went back a ways.
Well, if you don't have it in front of you, no need for us to try to
really
find
don't,
out.
but even if you will, I can maybe check through the file I brought and see if I could spot the name, of the firm itself. Because
Okay,
yeah,
no,
I'm sorry.
No worries. At some point, you might want to get it to Don or whatever, so we can,
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
considering that, you potentially want to do something, in the future with this particular, entity, I think it would be wise to, not use them again if they didn't give you the, if they didn't give you the tax bills that they should have gave you, so you wouldn't be in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
I just understand. Who
Yeah,
we
no,
we did the audit.
I could even get the name right downstairs, I think, who was hired by the city to do the work. The firm that was, the outside firm that was hired to do the work.
That was a point of clarification.
Okay, sure.
Understanding,
Sure.
just moving forward, what that looked like for the group.
Yep. Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate it, thank you.
Hey, Mike, you got a second? Maybe you can help us out, maybe you can shed some light on the potential assessor, if you know, or the auditor. Would you happen to know, who were the auditors for this particular
Yeah, a company called Tax Management Associates.
tax matter?
Thank you very much. It just escaped my mind.
Thank you, Tax Matter Associates.
Tax Management Association.
So maybe, I'm gonna.
I know I had it in my file, I didn't bring all those files with me.
Yeah, no,
Thank
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
do that. Because typically, once you have an audit, you tend to get feedback. But I'll leave it there. Alder Douglas.
I'll check.
Okay. Okay. Alder, any questions? No? Well, thank you for coming by and let us know your case. We will certainly be deciding this evening what the committee's gonna do. Ultimately, it'll go to the board and they'll make the final decision, and you can always ask Don as to what was the recommendation of this body. And,
Well, I do thank you very much for your consideration.
you can always stay. I mean, you can always stay, or you can just ask not tomorrow. Yeah. But any more questions, or you want to, any statements you want for us to consider?
No, I think, statement stands, so
Yeah.
appreciate any consideration you can give to this matter.
Yeah, of course.
And we appreciate it, relief on that, and we want to resolve this ASAP.
Indeed. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate
very
you.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
No, you're welcome.
I would like to call to the table Maria L. Zambrano. Maria L. Zambrano. Maria L. Zambrano. Done.
I sent her a letter.
Is this the second? Third, okay. They will not, I'd like to call to the table James Majors. James Majors. James Majors.
Sent him a letter,
Third.
third time.
I'd like to call to the table Timothy Kelly Anderson. Well, Don, is this related to Amy?
Excuse me?
Is this related to Amy? Okay,
No, it's the,
Yes.
sent him a letter and
Yep.
back and forth. That's the response I got today from him.
Roger. Timothy Kelly Anderson. Timothy Kelly Anderson? Timothy Kelly Anderson. Does anyone from the public wish to testify on items 1 through 4? Does anybody from the public wish to testify? You coming to testify? No. Does anybody from the public wish to testify on items 1 through 4?
I move we close the public portion.
Second?
The motion has been moved to close the public portion. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I hereby close the public portion of this meeting, and I'll entertain motions for these items.
I move item first. First item.
Second.
I hear motion in the second. Discussion. Alderman Gay.
Um, Chair,
Sir.
I think it would be, I think it would be beneficial to try to support this in, some kind of way to get this off the books.
Okay,
Um,
what would you recommend? I think it's the same recommendation we all have on the table.
I don't know if there's the recommendation to forgive all of the 22.
I'll entertain that.
I don't know if I'm gonna forgive all of the 22.
Okay,
Um,
I'll entertain that as well. You make your motion, and then if you get a second, then the motion will stay alive. Or will die in additional second. And we can also discuss it, make a motion, have it moved, have a discussion, we can do a friendly amendment, and it was adjusted.
Well, let me give you my reasoning to that. Back to some of the ownership of understanding that when you do an audit, right, you're ordering you to pay a tax bill of some sort, right? You got to be in communication with that company, right? It's a two-way street. The responsibility, I think, falls more on the auditors who are actually doing it to work for the client, but at the same time, the client has responsibility as well. Before I throw out a number, Alder Douglas had his hand like up, like he's burning
I will recognize the responsibility.
to say something, right?
Would you like to get your time and allow?
Only if it's coming back to me before he hit a number.
Alder Douglas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, my colleague, for the opportunity. In all due fairness,
Yes.
I have to say that I think this is a little irresponsibility, and I believe we all have to pay our taxes. I wish I could get a break, but I can't get a break. But I'm in saying that, I think it would be appropriate if the taxpayer did pay the majority of the penalty, the interest, seeming that there was the excuse put on the table that they weren't notified, or something to the effect of the information going to the wrong address. Well, it is our responsibility as taxpayers to find out. If we don't hear from them, they're not going to go away. So therefore, if I could throw in a figure,
If you would yield your time, let's give Alder Wingate an opportunity to
I
maybe throw
will
in a figure,
I would.
and then we can entertain a friendly amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alder. Douglas, Alder Wingate.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Because the interest is what we're really looking at, right?
Yeah.
Right, the interest, the 22.
And just a point of clarity, Alder Wingate, just so that everybody's aware, the LLC, BTC New Haven LLC, acknowledges that they have to pay $62,984. They're going to pay the taxes in full. They've acknowledged it, they've stated it. And they understand that that's a responsibility. They have a fiscal responsibility to the city, and they've acknowledged that they're going to pay that in full. So given what's before us, which is let's look at that interest. I'm considering what you're saying, Alder Wingate, Alder Douglas, Alder Wingate. I'm also considering what you said, the two different schools of thought, which align with what we're doing here. So you got the floor, sir.
I mean, if we looked at it at a 50-50 situation, we would cut the interest down by half.
Correct.
And I would
Run it down.
I would want that.
Yeah.
That would be something I say that would be fair for the city of New Haven and the community that have to pay taxes every day. It's, it wouldn't be 22, it'd be 12, or whatever it is.
Okay.
I said, knock that down by 50%.
So is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Do I hear a second?
I will second that.
Okay. Motion on the table. Forgive 50% of the interest.
Yes.
And you said knock it down, maybe 12. So if you knock it down by 12, that brings that to 10,000.
Whatever the interest is of the 22, knock it down by 50%.
50%. Okay. Not a problem. Let's do the math.
Whatever it is.
So 22,337 with 68 cents. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Douglas. Is that correct? So
$11,168.84.
this is something that you can agree with here.
Yes.
Is this something you can agree with?
Yes.
Okay. So given the item or given the motion on the table,
Mhm.
forgive the interest by 50%. Certainly we'll get 62,000 from the taxes.
Mhm.
It gives an opportunity to hold accountability for the missed taxes. And the city is also able to recoup
Mhm.
some that it's legit, because the whole thing is legitimate. But we're gonna give a 50% tax break or interest break, given the situation. What is the state of the rest of the committee?
I agree.
Any additional comments, questions, concerns? No? All in favor to approve the motion on the table to forgive 50% of the interest, meaning that the entirety would be it'll bring it down by 11,000, bring it down to 74,153 with 33 cents. Does that seem correct to you all?
Chair, I want to lean on your math.
Yeah, okay.
And, I want to lean on your math.
Sounds good. All in favor to approve these motion, please indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it, done.
Because they're ready to pay, did you want to?
Make it a UC.
As, as a committee UC, so that so they don't have to wait until September for the board to approve it.
I would say yes. Our next committee meeting will be next month, correct?
Our next meeting is next month, the board meeting is August 5th. But it goes through its first reading, second reading, it won't be until September 7th.
Let's make it UC.
So you see,
Let's make it UC, please.
So that will stop interest from accruing starting now.
I'll say interest is
Yeah,
this.
okay.
That's the order that will go through, sent once it's approved down to the tax office.
Please, thank you. I'll entertain motions for number 2, 3, and 4.
I make a motion, I move to.
Second?
One second, Alder.
I move item 2, 3, and 4, leave to withdraw.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion. Items 2, 3, and 4 are individuals that have been contacted 2, 3, and 2 times already. We've sent the third. This will be their third. Unfortunately, they have not responded to come in before us. They haven't explained their case. They haven't given us any reasons to hear their cases. So I would think it appropriate to leave to withdraw. Any additional comments? Seeing none. All in favor to leave to withdraw items 2, 3, and 4, please indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it. I hereby entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor to approve motion to adjourn this meeting, indicating with an eye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstention? The ayes have it. We're hereby adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.